Hello my lovelies and welcome to my channel. Today we will be taking a walk through New Zealand's cold history. The cold that we will be discussing is Centrepoint. So I suggest that we have a cup of tea in hand and a little blanket because this is going to get heavy. So I've got it right here in hand and I want to start this video by sharing a little bit of personal story with you guys that I had with this property, because even though I've been to it. So a few years back I used to live in Albany, and I used to live a walk away from the grounds where this commune used to live. I had a friend who used to live in the property, and she was actually moving out of that property and moving into a different place. And when we were going there, I think we were going to drop something off or pick something up, I can't remember, but we decided to take a walk and just go and see it. So at this point I didn't know the history of the property, of the grounds. But when we were walking there, I can tell you that visually, my goodness, visually this property is absolutely stunning. And this is not at its heyday. This is just like 4 or 5 years back that I went there. And the nature that surrounds the grounds is beautiful. New Zealand native bush is amazing. And I'm saying the plants is like the beautiful palm trees and like the ferns and everything. It was just mind-blowing. It was absolutely amazing. And so basically when we walked there and we got to the place, they've kind of set it up like a kind of retreat, I would say. So they've got some little lodges here and there, and in the middle, like these gardens, there's like a water fountain, and you see it, and it is just to the eye, it's beautiful, like it's absolutely stunning. But something didn't sit right with me. So from the moment we were walking to the place, I suddenly started feeling off, like unsettled, and this weird like negative feeling towards the place. And I couldn't understand, because God, it was amazing and beautiful. So why was I feeling these weird vibrations? The thing is, I'm very intuitive, very intuitive, and any slight of negative energy or vibration, sometimes I feel it, and it like most of the time, and then I just feel ugh, which is why before I move into any house I have to walk through it and feel it before I say yes, I'm gonna move there. So when she finished doing what she was doing, we decided to walk home, and I was like, did you feel uneasy or weird? And she was like, you know, she had her mind somewhere else, so she didn't really kind of hear me. And me being me, I went and did some research. I decided to go and find out what was happening and why was I feeling this weird way. So I found out that it used to have a commune, a cult of people living at these grounds. Now it makes sense. So now that I'm starting to do some YouTube videos, I decided to actually dig deeper and find out what happened there. What made that beautiful landscape feel off? What actually happened? So basically when I was doing research for this video, I couldn't find a lot, but I did find articles, I did find interviews, and a movie was made from the account of a family that that lived in this commune. The movie is named Angie. Unfortunately, I was not able to find the film, so I was not able to watch it, but I did get to hear her in an interview and that she did with one of our radio stations in RNZ. I have posted all of my links below, all of my sources, so if you guys do want to go and take a look at them, I suggest that you do, if you do want to hear or read about the accounts of the people that actually lived in this place. So let's jump right into it. I will just have another sip of tea. Just a quick mention, I do have to say that Angie, my God, what a remarkable woman. Incredible and amazing human being, and I really do suggest listening to that interview and going through those articles. So let's jump in. I just need to mention that. Okay, so basically his name is Herbert Thomas Potter, and everybody in the commune and everybody that knew him called him Bert. So I'm going to, throughout this video, call him Bert so we have some consistency throughout the video. He founded this commune in 1977 with 2 women and 7 men. When I was doing research about this, I couldn't find a lot of information about this guy, but I did find out that he used to be a vacuum sales cleaner at one point, and I'm not sure if he was bored or what the hell, but when you're crazy, you know, he found a way, and he basically started preaching about spiritual growth, personal growth, and sexual liberation, and that's how he managed to gain such a community. He was putting this idea out there that he wanted this idyllic place to exist where people were free from the bounds of society. Basically, he actually grew, or the commune grew to have hundreds of people. I think at one stage around 200 to 300 people were living in this commune. So like I said, he basically believed in this whole bohemian lifestyle. We need to remember that in the 1970s, people were living in different situation. It was a different era, different situation from us. So the bohemian lifestyle was very appealing to people. It was very, very appealing, especially if you came from a certain background, and it was like a liberation thing. So everybody wanted to have a part in this sort of lifestyle, and especially when he believed himself to be a style therapist who wanted to make like big social therapy sessions with people and help them integrate and heal and all sorts of things. But obviously, as we know, things will take a dark turn. So basically, he in these social therapy sessions, to enhance the experience, he encouraged people to take drugs. And I'm going to say encouraged, more like shoved and pushed, like to take these drugs. He wanted to enhance the experiment. And if people didn't want to, they're like, oh, I'm not really digging it, I don't really want to or believe in that. You were broken down mentally, you were pushed to take these drugs. So we are already starting to see that what type of character he was. And to top it all off, just the cherry on the top, one of his core beliefs that this sick piece of trash is, he believed in the liberation of sexuality between children and adults. He wanted everybody to explore, and he didn't think it was wrong for him to explore with children or other adults to explore with children. I mean, this guy is just, he's just another type of individual, isn't he? And to make it worse, this sick, he didn't not once show a single glimmer of remorse, not one apology, no one I'm sorry, not even like trying to even pretend. Until his death in 2012, he died believing that we are all crazy and he is right for thinking that this is how people should live, so that people should just go gallivanting with no rules and hurting children. He believed it till the day he died. Believe it, you guys, because it's true. He never decided to look at life a different way. This is the point where all of us, and me personally, having this question that I started to ask myself, why would people subject their children to abuse, to psychological, physical, and sexual abuse? Why would you put your little creatures, your little innocent people in these situations? And I got angry at one point because I'm like, this is not fair. Like, how did this happen? Did you go into this, lose common sense out the door as soon as you got there, and then this happened? But then I had to take a step back. and think about this and try and put myself and be objective about this. And I have to remember that these people, the people that already they were moving into these places, they were already damaged. They had already some vulnerability. They were not living their best lives. They were not living their best lives. They either came from impoverished situations of very, very like strong hardship, or they were in situations that were not ideal, or they had already been abused in some way or another, and they were looking and yearning for something or someone to believe in, right? So they were already in these terrible circumstances. And like I said, from the outside, this place is like paradise. I tell you, think about like the Adam and Eve garden, right? Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then on top of it, you have this guru here, her self-proclaimed guru, that is saying that he is preaching spiritual growth, and you can have liberation, and you can heal your families, and you can explore and expand your knowledge and become one with yourself and your family. So to them, that looks good, you know. And to make matters better, you don't need to worry about your material needs, because we all poured everything into this commune so that all of us take care of each other. So I don't have to worry about that stuff. I don't have to worry about paying my bills. I don't have to worry about living, and I can get to live in paradise. Sign me up. And that's what these people were thinking when they jumped in here. But not long after they moved there, things get worse instead of getting better. I mean, this guy is crazy. You know, they start breaking you down. A lot of recounts of people, like I said, have said that they were broken psychologically and to participate in the unusual social practices of this place. I mean, that could mean millions of things, right? And we also need to remember that cult leaders are very charismatic. They're very charismatic, and they draw and pull you in, right? So when they're starting to feel intimidated, or they're starting feeling horrible, he could use his charisma, he could use intimidation, he could use many things to make sure you stay in line. And if you are taking drugs, and if you are being abused, you start to neglect your children, and you start to believe these crazy things, because your psychology part, your brain is already broken down, your psyche is broken down. So you just jump into this rabbit hole, and no matter how hard you try and get out of it, it is incredibly hard to leave. We need to understand those things. It's not like they just went in there one day and decided, here you go, abuse me. No, it was little steps that made these people become monsters to these children. And the most disheartening part of all of this is the children that had to live in those circumstances, and then live with the consequences of those actions, because they were the ones that were left with scars, the most scars. They had to live with the PTSD, with the depression, with the anxiety. They're the ones that had to fight tooth and nail to get out of that. A lot of work had to be done for those people to even begin to, I'm not even sure if you can ever fully recover from this. But they were the ones that had to go through and do the work and go through teeth and nail to try and get better. They're the ones that are the true survivors and heroes, because they were the ones that had to get through it all. I think it's time for us to take another sip of tea. So how did it all end? What was the aftermath? Well, the commune didn't officially fully close into 2000. The property, it's quite messy. So basically, by 2000, it was done. But he was convicted, and he was sent to jail. So the first conviction that he had was in 1990, when he was convicted for drug abuse and drug use and all of those things. So he was convicted then. And then in November 1992, so I'm just want to make sure, so I had to look at my notes. He actually was convicted and jailed for 7 years for 13 charges of sexual abuse on 5 girls between 1979 and 1984. And I'm sure that it was more people that were abused on this, and the fact that he got 7 years, and it's better than nothing, but yeah, slightly unsettling. But that he died in 2012. That's when he finally passed away. And at the moment they're using that place is lodgings. The actual property is owned by a trust. It is a little bit complicated, so I won't get too much into that. But that's how I set up kind of what happened. And just as an afterthought, thought bubble. Again, this is just terrible what has happened here, and very close to home. And I hope, this is why I believe in karma, because I hope one way or another he truly gets punished for what he's done, because this is a monster that destroyed so many lives, so many lives. And with his narcissism and his atrocities, and it is just disgusting. It is disgusting, and I really hope from the bottom of my heart that the survivors find some peace after all of this. And just as another afterthought, this opens up the conversation as to why it is so important for us to have conversations with our children, to make sure that we educate ourselves and protect them, because at the end of the day, they are our future, and we need to make sure that we have those conversations to protect them, to make sure they know it is more than safe for them to come and talk to us, and actually protect them. And so that if something does, or they feel uncomfortable, they can come and talk to us. The culture that we have, go and kiss your uncle or go and kiss your auntie or whatever, if a child is not comfortable with it, we should not push for them to go and do something that they're not comfortable with, so they know I have the power to say no. And with that, my lovelies, I will wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you guys like it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, all the sources are linked below if you guys want to take a look at those interviews and read those articles. Thank you so much for having another tea chat with me. Until next time, thanks guys.